It's a crisis that's affecting children across our nation.
There's not a lot of food in my refrigerator.
And it could be happening in your own backyard.
I'm like hungry when it's bedtime, but I never ask because I always know we need food for the next day.
This is a tough problem. It affects a lot of kids, and when you're talking about kids, you're talking about the future of the country.
Child hunger in America is a hidden tragedy.
The stunning statistic is today it affects 10 million children under the age of 6.
That's a staggering number. And it's taking a toll on more and more families every day.
Sometimes I skip meals so my sisters can eat.
Being a parent now, knowing the expectations and the dreams you have for your kids, in order to get out of this vicious cycle, there has to be something.
And if you think child hunger isn't in your neighborhood or your schools, think again.
How much of a crisis has this become?
It amounts to a crisis in education. I can prepare a child to take a math test, but I can't prepare a child for the experience of being hungry.
Child hunger ends here. A special report hosted by Al Roker with Natalie Morales.
Not enough food in the fridge, kids skipping meals. Child hunger in America is a growing crisis. It's affecting more and more children, and not in areas where you might expect. Put simply, nearly 1 out of every 4 kids in this country faces food insecurity, and the numbers are climbing. Food insecurity means you don't know how long the food you have is going to last, and if you're going to have enough money to get more food when it's gone. Tonight, we'll explore what can be done, because there is hope. Later on, Natalie Morales will be here with a report on the impact child hunger has on our educational system. We'll also visit food insecure families. But let's begin with a look at the new face of hunger. Maybe mom works 40 hours a week, yet still has to make a choice between rent and food. Or maybe dad makes just a little too much income to qualify for government assistance. In America, we now have a working class poor. When I saw this firsthand, I was shocked.
In a perfect world, food would be like nonstop every day, just 3 squared meals, and it'd be perfect.
17 million American children live in homes that are food insecure. It's everywhere. Just so everyone understands why it's serious, there's an educational consideration. It's pretty tough to focus on math or English if you're hungry. Secondly, it's a healthcare issue. Youngsters who are hungry take chronic diseases into adulthood, and you see substantially increased healthcare costs.
You may think the issue of child hunger is one that affects the poor in rural communities or inner cities. The reality is, the new face of child hunger might belong to the child next door.
I have 5 children and I'm married, and we can't find the work we used to have. My husband's a contractor.
Just 2 years ago, Bonnie and I were making like $3,000–4,000 a month and had steady work to go to, and just started dropping off. Now we've gotten so far behind on our bills that we've lost the house and there's just no work.
We recently had to move into my mother's basement, so we're just really struggling right now to just stay above water.
As a dad, I feel discouraged, at the end of the month. I got little children, it's hard to,
With a tough economy, you're really dealing with the new poor, if you will, the people that have lost a job, the people whose jobs have been downsized.
Are we at a crisis right now when it comes to hunger in America?
Yeah, we are at a crisis.
The face of America's hungry would probably surprise a lot of people. A lot of these folks would be considered middle-class people.
No question, Al. I mean, the people that I've seen, especially in the last year, are people that were formerly employed teachers in the service industry across America, and they've lost their jobs.
Like many Americans, the Byler family is struggling to make ends meet, and it's a battle they're losing at the kitchen table.
On my brokest week, I have no money to spend on food.
I love cinnamon toast.
Okay, eat your dinner.
I feel like the hunger snuck up on us. Just kind of, one day you're hungry,
I mean, we might be scratching for as much change as we can to get 2 kids' meals or something like that off the dollar menu or whatever, and just kind of splitting it up with everybody and then maybe give them all beans.
Sometimes I skip meals so my sisters will have another meal that I don't need.
I get hungry.
The stunning statistic is today it affects 10 million children that are under the age of 6.
That's a staggering number.
Absolutely.
Feeding America is the nation's leading domestic hunger relief organization. Last year, distributing 3 billion pounds of food through 200 food banks across the United States. How many kids will Feeding America help feed?
In a given week, we feed about 2 million kids.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. The majority of food that we receive in the Feeding America Network actually comes from the federal government. They do a great job of supporting and helping us.
You know, it's important for folks to understand it just can't be the government. The government is part of the solution, but it by no means is all of the solution, whether it's the federal, state, or local government. Individuals have an opportunity to help. It's not just the charitable thing to do. It's not just the morally right thing to do. It just is economically the right thing to do, because if we have well-educated, strong, healthy, smart kids, we're going to be able to win the future. We're going to be able to compete successfully in this global economy.
If we believe that our kids are the future of this country, and I do, then we're at a crisis point. You know, when you think about the impact that children that don't eat regularly and don't eat well, it has a dramatic impact on their ability to learn. It has a dramatic impact on how they react socially, psychologically.
When I'm hungry, I'm pretty grouchy. It's bad sometimes.
Andrew, his attitude can quickly decline over the course of a few minutes when he gets hungry. I mean, there's not a whole lot to look forward to when you don't have enough to eat. It's hard when you're hungry.
Vicki, in a sense, you folks are a food safety net for people.
We absolutely are. We're a place to go when there really isn't another place. We are right in the middle of the community, and so we are a place that the people that we serve know to go for help and assistance.
Every month, if we're in a struggle, we can go to the pantry and you can just get vegetables and soup and milk and stuff.
If I have to take Andrew into a food pantry with me, he's old enough to know what we're doing, and that's sort of embarrassing for me because he shouldn't even know what a food pantry looks like in my mind. Oh, but look, they have these yummy, yummy crackers.
It takes away my worry that there's no food because they will always help us get food.
We live in the United States of America, and when you're looking at Americans really grappling with an issue that is as basic as food, which is really the right of everyone, I mean, I think that's pretty concerning.
I've always been a believer in America. I've always been a believer in the American dream, you know, but take away the food and you don't have much left then, you know, not much left to talk about or be happy about.
This is a tough problem. It affects a lot of kids, and when you're talking about kids, you're talking about the future of the country.
Hunger in America crosses all ethnic lines. Of all food insecure households in America, 53% are Caucasian, 21% African American, 21% are Hispanic, and 5% are other ethnicities. Next, we'll meet a struggling single mom. She has a job, works a 40-hour week, and still can't afford to feed her children properly.
At the end of the month, what's left for food is between $50 to $100.
It feels sad because we don't get the food we want. One thing I love is salad, but we never have enough money for it.
And if you think your kid is not affected, think again, because any child in a classroom who suffers hunger can have an effect on all the kids.
Hunger isn't going to jump up and shake your hand and introduce itself. It's waiting quietly, silently in the classroom, almost everywhere.
Natalie Morales joins us with startling stories from inside our school systems.
What's going on?
Child hunger in America is not a problem, it's a crisis, but we can do something about it. Stay tuned to see how you can be part of the solution.
Child Hunger Ends Here. A special report is sponsored by ConAgra Foods.
ConAgra Foods is a big food company. It may not be a household name, but our brands certainly are.
May I come in? I am Chef Boyardee.
Brands like Chef Boyardee, Marie Callender, Pam, Healthy Choice, Hunt's, Orville Redenbacher, Swiss Miss, and many more. Feeding hungry children has always been very important to ConAgra Foods. It's why we started the Child Hunger Ends Here initiative.
The Child Hunger Ends Here program is a call to action. It's an easy way for everyone to join the fight against hunger. We help fill the emergency food gaps of families today.
ConAgra Foods have donated more than $34 million to help us end childhood hunger. They've also donated more than 250 million pounds of food to help those in need.
We're off to a very good start, but there's still so much more work that needs to be done from not just corporations, but government, nonprofit organizations, and from people across communities all over America.
Today, nearly 1 in 4 kids in America is facing hunger. But right now, thanks to ConAgra Foods and Feeding America, it's easy to help feed a child in need when you join our Child Hunger Ends Here program. For every specially marked ConAgra Foods purchase you register online, we'll help provide a meal for a child who needs one. Buy one, and you can help feed another. It's that simple.
Did I do okay?
You did great.
Find specially marked ConAgra products, enter your code at childhungerendshere.com, and help make a difference.
Dad?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you can cook.
Shh, neither does Mommy. Let's keep that our little secret.
You're good. You can cook.
What are you doing?
I'm making a birthday card.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Thanks. She's gonna like this, huh?
I hope so.
What are you doing now?
Making an omelet?
What's an omelet?
Fancy eggs.
Look at time.
You ready, buddy? Let's go, come on. Breakfast.
You guys are so sweet.
You want to meet your baby sister?
Hi.
This is beautiful.
Happy birthday, Mia.
Feed the love with the food you love. ConAgra Foods.
The economy has really affected our family, losing our house and our car. There has been a couple days where I haven't been able to eat food or anything.
The recent economic meltdown means that now, more than ever, parents have to choose between feeding their children and paying for other needs. About half of the people served by Feeding America, our nation's largest hunger relief organization, say they have to choose between paying for food and for utilities or heat. 40% have to choose between paying for food and paying the rent or mortgage. Hardest hit are single parents, who are now raising about 34% of all American children. Jennifer is a single mom and an Army veteran. She works full-time and earns a decent salary. And still, she struggles every day to feed her 2 growing girls.
I'm a single working mom. I work 40 hours a week, sometimes more. I'm raising 2 girls, Ashley, who's 8, and Elizabeth, who's 5, which is a big burden with daycare expenses and that with working all the time.
I'm hungry when it's bedtime, but I never ask because I always know we need food for the next day. Yeah, I'm hungry a lot of times.
This year's been the most difficult year for us. I took the car in to find out that's $500. Okay, how do I pay for that? And put food on the table. At the end of the month, what's left for food is between $50 to $100. I mean, it gets really tough. Being a parent now myself, knowing the expectations and the dreams you have for your kids, knowing that you don't want them where you're at. Food insecurity is not knowing how long what you have in the cupboard is gonna last, if you're gonna have enough in the next paycheck to get the next 2 weeks worth until the next paycheck comes. There has been times where here's a bag of popcorn that you guys 2 can split. Oh, we're still hungry. We ate dinner. We had popcorn for dinner, kids.
When it comes to food, I take care of Beth. I'm more like a mother. At school, sometimes in the hall, she's dragging herself because she's hungry.
All right, girls, dinner's ready.
One thing I love is salad, but we never have enough money for it.
I do worry about whether or not they are eating healthy enough. They probably should get more fruits and vegetables. Busy day today. Get your coat. I think people don't realize how many people do struggle, because it doesn't look like the typical place you would expect people to be struggling in. It took me a year to go to Missions for All Nations food pantry. I was already charging groceries to the credit card. In order to get out of this vicious cycle, there has to be something. Let's see if we can get to a better place.
Okay, here's a form for you. If you could just fill out the front side.
Just have to swallow your pride to walk through those doors to admit in some ways you have failed.
Jennifer?
I can't believe I'm here, that I'm in this situation.
It feels sad because we don't get the food we want, but happy because we at least get some food.
I work, I'm making decent money, but if it's not one thing, it's another. This could happen to anybody at any time because you never know. You have one thing on top of another, till it just seems to spiral out of control and then you're in need. Free time's a lot of volunteering here and there for help and assistance, because then I don't feel like I'm abusing it. Helping out not only helps the other people, but it also does help us with being able to take home those food packages when we need them. Do volunteer other places too to help make ends meet.
You can see all these different people who are in need. I feel sad for them, but I also feel happy that they can at least get some food, some comfort. As long as we have enough, I'm happy. That's all you really need. Baby.
Recently, Jennifer got a raise at work of 50 cents an hour. That would seem like good news, but that put her into a higher income bracket, which caused her to lose government-subsidized childcare. Jennifer's daycare bill jumped from $150 a month to over $1,000 a month, making it even harder to put food on the table. Still to come, we'll look at the physical and emotional effects hunger can have on children.
How does this affect the students in the classroom?
A hungry child looks like a sick child.
And even if your child is not at risk of hunger, if the kid who sits next to him or her goes to bed hungry, everyone is affected.
Food insecurity is a make or break problem for our society.
Natalie Morales joins us with that story. And we'll show you how things can change because we can make a difference. Stay tuned.
Child Hunger Ends Here. A special report is sponsored by ConAgra Foods.
Child hunger is not just in the big cities, it's even in places like Nebraska and Iowa. Every day, we're hearing more and more stories about how difficult it is for the people in communities just to put food on the table for their children.
We said, here we are, a major food company, and in our own backyard, kids are going to bed hungry. These are kids coming home from school and their refrigerators are empty, and that's just not right. The Hunger-Free Heartland initiative is an effort to solve hunger right in our own backyard.
Here at Food Bank for the Heartland, we provide emergency food to 22,000 people each week. Without the help of ConAgra Foods, we could not serve nearly 150,000 people each year.
Here at Kellum Elementary, we have 91% of our kids who are struggling with food insecurity and poverty. We're working with ConAgra and the Hunger-Free Heartland initiative to get our kids to participate more in breakfast.
You're welcome, honey.
I want to encourage everyone to make certain that they are doing what they can do in their own backyards.
Today, nearly 1 in 4 kids in America doesn't know where his next meal is coming from. But right now, thanks to ConAgra Foods and Feeding America, it's easy to help a child faced with hunger. For every specially marked ConAgra Foods purchase you register online, our Child Hunger Ends Here program helps provide a meal for a child in need. Buy one, and you can help feed another. It's that simple. Find specially marked ConAgra products, enter your code at childhungerendshere.com, and help make a difference.
Mom, are the pies ready yet?
Just in time.
Smell good.
Don't they though?
Can we eat them now?
No.
Mama told me that I live real long cause she put a lot of love in my food. Awesome. Mama told Come on, you gotta have a pizza with cheese. You're crazy. And I believed her. I never went wrong. And I believed her. I never went wrong. I grew up strong, like she said.
That's real cream, baby.
He's coming. Hurry up.
Feed the love with the food you love. ConAgra Foods.
It's really horrible, really, to go without eating. You have this pain in your stomach. I just lost all my energy. I didn't do anything. It hurt.
Hunger can cripple a child's health, and some of the effects can be long-term. Natalie Morales is here with an alarming report on the impact of child hunger on our educational system.
Well, Al, it's hard to believe that this is a growing problem in this country, and as heartbreaking as it is to think of a child going to bed hungry, the bigger picture is the frightening future impact on our kids. A lack of nutrition can affect physical and emotional development, and all this puts a drain on our economic system. In fact, if we don't do something, experts say our child population faces a number of new risks.
Food insecurity in children is basically a make or break problem for our society.
I can prepare a child to take a math test, but I can't prepare a child for the experience of being hungry.
Brookside Elementary is located in a charming suburb of Connecticut. You would never guess it, but 59% of the student population receives free and reduced meals. Our schools have had to step in and feed these kids because educators have found a hungry child can't learn.
There are approximately 17 million children living in food insecure households in the United States.
A day doesn't go by when I don't see a child who is either hungry or is eating food that is not nourishing.
How does this affect the students in the classroom?
A hungry child looks like a sick child. Their head may be down, their body posture is limp. If they look you in the eye, they're not really focused.
The child has to have certain nutrients in order for proper brain growth to occur. When those nutrients aren't there at the right period and the right time, that can actually change the architecture of a child's brain in some adverse ways.
Dr. John Cook of Boston Medical Center is the leading authority on how food insecurity and hunger affect a developing child.
Children can experience hunger as a very toxic kind of stress in their lives. They'll have more behavior problems in school, problematic interactions with their peers, and in adolescence it can even lead to depression and suicidal ideation.
What is the most shocking example that you've experienced firsthand as a teacher in the classrooms?
I have a favorite activity that I like to do with the kids. It involves science. We make glue using milk. And I had a child raise their hand, and they said, you know, I'd rather drink the milk than do the activity. I haven't had breakfast. As soon as I let that child drink the milk, I had 3 or 4 other children that were saying the same thing, and pretty soon, I'm taking out cereal from under my desk, 25 children are having breakfast, and we really didn't finish the lesson.
It can have a very major effect on their learning readiness. This, unfortunately, leads a lot of children to fail in school and to withdraw and not complete their education.
Children are entering a world of high-stakes testing. Being hungry or malnourished is a disadvantage that nobody can afford. On the day of the standardized test, most homeroom teachers will bring in food so that every child in their class will have breakfast on those days.
Being hungry isn't fun. There's not a lot of food in my refrigerator.
Hey guys. How's it going? The need to fill the gaps with food for hungry children is so great. More and more after-school meal programs are popping up in neighborhoods all across the country.
The mission of the Kids Cafe is to serve a balanced, nutritious meal to children who need it most. We started about 25, 30 kids. Now we serve as many as 130 kids per day. The kids get off the bus, and 9 times out of 10, the first question out of their mouth is, "What's for dinner? I'm hungry."
How does it feel like for you when you're hungry?
I could do anything to get myself full. Drink like a bunch of water a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. What do you like most about coming here?
Having fun in the food here.
The food. Is the food good?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing that they serve?
Fried chicken.
For most, it'll be the only meal that they do eat at night.
One of the big surprises for me has been the sheer magnitude of the problem. Just how many millions of children we have in this very wealthy country that are dealing with the problem of food insecurity every day.
Hunger isn't going to jump up and shake your hand and introduce itself. It's waiting quietly, silently, in the classroom, almost everywhere.
When I see a child suffering from hunger, it breaks my heart. You can't give me a reason why any child in this country should have to go hungry for any period of time.
It's believed that some food insecure kids may have a harder time completing school and entering the job market. Al?
Natalie, thanks so much. Experts say the time to take action to curb child hunger in America is now, before it's too late. Stay with us to learn what you can do to help.
Child Hunger Ends Here. A special report is sponsored by ConAgra Foods.
Today, nearly 1 in 4 kids in America doesn't know where his next meal is coming from. The Child Hunger Ends Here program makes it easy to help a child faced with hunger. For every specially marked ConAgra Foods product you purchase and register online, our Child Hunger Ends Here program helps provide 1 meal to Feeding America. Find our specially marked products. Enter the 8-digit code at childhungerendshere.com. Help feed a child in need. It's that simple.
My stepdad was unemployed and money got tight, so going to the food pantry helps my family because food costs a lot of money. Or if my stepdad can get a job, then maybe it'll make things easier and we won't need to depend on this.
President Obama has declared he wants to end hunger in America by the year 2015. We hope this program, Child Hunger Ends Here, a special report, plays a part in that cause. You personally can be part of it too. For more information and ways to help, visit our website, childhungerendshere.com. Thank you for watching.
When we're at home and we don't have anything in the fridge or the cabinets, it kind of makes me feel like, oh boy, here we go again.
I don't really talk to my friends that much about it because, like, sometimes I think they're going to make fun of me or something like that.
You're worried about the future and how to get through.
I'm too young for this to be happening to. At least I think I am.